Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. I want to welcome Susan Lynn joining us tonight. Hey Susan, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I always enjoy being on your channel. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
me too, Susan. I always enjoy it and I love reading with you. I think that we work so well together. Our
We work
energies are
great
really
together.
compatible and everybody loves our collabs together. So um, everybody looks forward to it.
And we're back here just chatting before the show. Like we could easily just still be chatting and y'all could be waiting. We're
Right?
just like, wait a minute, and what about this? And what about that? So we're very
Yeah, we're
compatible.
already getting all the ideas all together, right? Of the show.
Yeah.
I'll just say if anybody has any political or current event questions, you can go ahead and write them in the chat. But I will just say that typically me and Susan maybe do a couple of those, and we always have questions off of our questions, and our back and forth always leads to other questions. So just being flexible. I do have a show with Mel Dore tomorrow. So if I don't get to your question tonight, please stop by and we'll be doing politics as well. Um, but again, I'm looking forward to our show tonight, Susan. It's always so much fun.
Totally,
Is there
yeah.
any well, there's so much going on. I was telling Susan it was like Santos was expelled less than a week ago, and for me it feels like it was a month or two ago.
It does. It
Isn't it
feels
crazy?
weird. It feels so weird. Well, maybe because we saw it coming for like 3 months and it just wouldn't happen. It's like, go
Hmm.
ahead, happen. And then it did.
Yeah. Well, I think we probably have to start off with well, there was a lot of big news today, but um Kevin resigned today. Yes.
We
They're
saw it.
dropping like flies, aren't they?
That's a good way to put it, right? They're dropping like flies. But what I was asking Kevin is, and I guess Kevin predicted this yesterday before it happened. So you had
Mhm.
a live yesterday, right, Kevin?
Yeah, somebody had
And,
asked me.
and you
Uh,
predicted he was going to leave. So Kevin got the jump on this. So
yeah.
my question is, and I was talking to him before we went live, was why is he leaving in December? Like, why doesn't he wait
Mm.
until his election? Like McHenry stepped down. There's a lot of things happening, but Kevin's like, I'm out, I'm done. I'm taking my toys and I'm going home.
Right. I felt when I was asked it yesterday, I did feel a bit torn on how to make that prediction because part of Kevin really wants to stay put where he was at. He wants the speaker job back. Um, but then
Uh,
also I just pick up on all of this anger against Trump and the MAGAs that threw him out. And he's kind of like, well, I'm going to show you, like, wait till let me get out of here so I can attack you all and give my resources to your opponents when they primary you.
so do you think that, on the down low, he's texting Santos some dirt? So
Oh, I
Santos
don't
can be the executioner with it or whatever. And he can be like, I didn't do it. I don't know nothing about
I
that.
don't think so. I think Kevin will drop it all on his own, to be honest with you. And I did say that I felt Santos when he was expelled, he's going to call a few of his colleagues out. But I
Okay.
feel like the same thing with Kevin. Like Kevin kind of goes on the attack against
So
some of
it's
his
going to
MAGA.
come from both. It's going to be both sides. I
Yeah.
love it. And
Implosion
tell
of the
him what you
Republican
saw about
Party.
Liz Cheney. Tell him what you saw about Liz Cheney. And I'm
Oh,
not going to be triggered, you guys. I've done deep breathing. I've got amethyst to hold. I'm going to be okay.
yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I had a vision of Liz Cheney, and I said it yesterday on my live show. But with all of her book press interviews and all that she's been doing, I don't know. I just saw like her, like I was seeing like a stage, and she was like in one of the wings of the stage where they have the curtains, like peering over the curtains, waiting for her opportunity to run out and run to the center stage. Um, I've always said I feel like Liz Cheney will be kind of crucial in when the Republican Party implodes and they have to rebuild and rebrand. She'll be a leader for that. But
Yep.
I know that there's some people, or I think she signaled that she's thinking about maybe running for president for 2024. I'm not personally picking that up. I think that will be like 2028, but I think she is considering it. But I think if it were to help Donald Trump, she wouldn't do it.
Yeah. The only thing, I don't picking it up right now either, but I'll tell you this, in May of next year, we'll have a much better idea of all the chaos that's going to be ensuing. And I think she's waiting for that. That's what she's in the wings, you know, doing. That you see her. She's like, let me just see, because if you have McCarthy gunning for his detractors, and yes, Santos, look, I know Santos has lied, and I know people don't think that he's, you know, believable or whatever, but I'm telling you guys, he's going to get one or two things right. And that's going to make everybody think about those lies. Are those lies true? This thing is right. You know, when you have a grain of something right in a lie, that lie gets very confusing because you don't know what part is true and what part isn't. So I think that next year, the chaos that's ensuing, I think she would throw her hat in the ring if she thought there was an opening. I'm just not sure there's going to be an opening. And if there is an opening, I don't know that she'll be funded. I don't know if she would have that war machine behind me. She has a Cheney, but I still don't think she would have. I don't think she likes to shoot and miss. So I think you're right. I don't think she'd put her hat in the ring unless she was really prepared.
She's looking for that opening where she could, but I almost feel like it will be too late before that happens.
Yeah, I think so too. And then it's just going to be chaos. And she's happy for that to happen. She's happy for all of that to implode, because then she can more clearly walk in and get a leadership position, because there just won't be anybody left that has any, you know, that has their stuff together.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, what do you feel like Santos is going to release? Like, what's the secrets? I almost feel like it might be some like campaign fraud or like misappropriating campaign money, like what he's done, but knowing of other people that have done that too. It feels financial to me. I think maybe some scandals, or maybe some energy similar to like Madison Cawthorn is what he said. But like I said, that I don't know if it really goes anywhere because of his credibility.
I feel like he's going to produce pictures. I mean, I think, let's just say for entertainment purposes only and allegedly, let's say that 8 of 10 of his things are lies, but 2 are real. And those 2 that are real, I think he's going to back it up. I think it's going to be shocking. I feel like McCarthy might come after them with the money stuff. And I think that Santos, I feel like he's going to go after Pence. I don't know why, but I think Pence and Pence and Lindsey Graham, Matt Schlapp, some of those people that might be, you know, doing
That's
some
really
things.
Interesting that you say that, because Lindsey Graham came on my radar the other day too, where I felt like it felt similar to the Trump rally where he was all booed and like, so he was embarrassed by this, but this felt like it was a lot like more of a major like scandal of embarrassment.
I think he's losing it, because today during this hearing, they said Lindsey Graham was screaming about, literally screaming about the border, about needing help at the border. I mean, either he's being theatrical so that somebody could video it and they could feed it to their red meat, you know, kind of things, or else he's really losing it. I'm not sure, but he's not well. He's not well.
Yeah, I think he's for entertainment purposes only. I think he's hitting the bottle a little hard.
Yes.
All right.
Extra hard.
Extra hard. And that's kind of what I've always felt for his future too. Like, I've always seen him like in an apartment room. All of the blinds and windows are closed. It's in a dark room. There's liquor bottles all over the floor, and he's in a really low place. That's what I've always felt like his final outcome is.
I've seen that too. And he's got like a little thing that he keeps all this dirt on people. You know, again, it's that same energy of Santos. You're going to take me out, I'm going to take you out. Cawthorn, you're going to take me out, I'm going to take you out. McCarthy, you're going to take me out, I'm going to take you out. So I feel like Lindsey's got some dirt on some people, but he could, you know, what do you think about some of these people just crossing over?
Well, is there anybody specific that you're referring to? I do feel like there are some.
Graham.
Oh, you feel Graham. Okay.
In the next 6 months to 8 months.
Oh, interesting. I haven't thought about that so much, although I agree with you. I feel like he's in a very low place, but I almost wonder about McConnell too.
McConnell won't die. He just will not
He's not.
die. I mean,
He's too
I'm
bitter. That
sorry.
bitterness is keeping him alive.
Something
Yeah.
serious is keeping that man alive. How is he alive? I don't
Right.
know. He's a medical miracle at this point.
I don't think for much longer though. I at least see him out. Like he's gonna have to retire and then maybe, passing shortly after that. Because the health issues, I mean, they're just gonna continue to get worse and worse. And you've noticed too, you really haven't heard a whole lot from McConnell since his speech episodes.
Nope, nope, not much at all.
Hmm.
Not much at all. When I went into his energy a little while back, he said, "I want to die on the Senate floor."
Oh yeah,
You know?
he doesn't want to step down, even though I think his family and all those
Yes.
around him are like, okay, it's time to step
Time
down.
to
Like,
go.
yeah,
Time to go.
yeah. But we
Dark
have a
force
lot,
keeps McConnell alive. That's all true.
right. Is there anywhere that you want to go, Susan, or do you want to do some of the questions coming in? There's just so much going on.
There's
So,
just so much going on. And then Tuberville says he's
oh, yeah,
releasing like 400 holds or something. He's going to keep like 12 or 15 holds on these 4 or 3-star generals,
yeah.
which they can go around him for those. They can find a way around him for those. But he's stepping down.
I
It's
think
like
they
the
can
energy
bring.
has really started to work in our
I
favor.
think that they can bring them to vote on the floor. The
Yeah,
thing is it was going to take so long with all of the people that
right.
there was over 400 of them
Right.
to
If there's
actually do
just
that.
10, I think they can do that. They can
Right.
go around him. What's going on? Constance wants to know what's going on with Grassley. I've always got a pretty good beat on Grassley in the sense that he didn't want to run. I don't think he wanted to run. I think he
Mhm.
was kind of forced or encouraged strongly to run. And I think he's connected to Jan 6.
I do
He's
too.
he's, he's connected to something that's bad. Do you see him stepping down? I mean, I don't know what they're asking. I don't know if something happened today, but somebody was just asking about Grassley.
I don't think anything specifically happened. They probably just wanted to ask about Grassley. I think he will end up actually stepping down. And it doesn't, maybe he's one of those that, like a group of lawmakers that end up passing. I will just say for him, I was a little shocked when he got reelected because when I threw cards on Grassley for his chances, they were the absolute worst cards I've ever seen in my life. It was like the
Wow.
Tower, the Hangman, the Death card, 10 of Swords, 3 of Swords. Like every bad card in the tarot
Wow.
was in his spread.
Well, that energy must still be hunting him down.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do feel like he gets in trouble for January 6th stuff, though.
I
I
do
don't
too.
I don't feel jail necessarily. Maybe he doesn't live long enough for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, how old is he? He's in his 90s, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, these
Yeah,
people really got on the hook. I mean, they're really on the hook. Like they apparently feel like they can't step down. But it's interesting that McCarthy isn't on any hook. McCarthy's like taking my toys and I'm leaving. So obviously nobody's controlling him or else he
mhm,
doesn't care or I don't know what is happening. They did say that his stature gives him like a lot of job opportunities. Like
oh, yeah.
they're bidding for him to come work for them right now.
I still see him in kind of like a not an elected office, but I don't know if it's like head of the Republican Party. He's still working for Republicans, though, I feel. Maybe, helping with fundraising.
Well,
But it's
he
interesting
might be
because
getting rid of Trump. He might be deciding that I'm going to stick around and work with Cheney. You see him
yeah,
working with Cheney?
I don't right now, but I think it's a possibility in the future.
I think it's a possibility in the future. So
Yeah.
you have these people switching sides, so to speak.
Mhm. Yeah, and that like I was telling Susan before the show, I feel like I say it every live stream, but when I started my channel, I got such a massive hit about the Republican Party is going to implode. It's going to fracture into two groups, and it's like we have more and more things like every week where you can further feel this energy really amplifying.
Yeah. And that gives me hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the timeline is finally clicking into place. Like the things
Hmm.
we've been seeing for years in some ways are finally starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good question. We were just talking about Tupperville, but Lady Leo says, "Will Schumer go ahead and change the rules so the Tupperville thing won't happen again?" I don't think he has the votes to do it right now.
I don't think so either.
The Republicans, I felt like I got this hit. I think it was in September that the military promotions were going to go through shortly. I felt like there was energy where they might have to change the rules, and the Republicans would have went around to the idea, although they would prefer to pressure Tupperville first. And if that wasn't successful, they were going to change the rules. But because they were able to pressure him, I don't think that they're going to change the rules for that. It almost feels like maybe 2025, after the new comes in, the Biden administration gets reelected, and you have the new members of the House and
Yeah.
Senate.
Yeah.
That's almost when they're going to
They're
get
gonna
the
get
rules
busy.
changed, because I do see them changing the filibuster, where it's
Yeah.
maybe a talking filibuster where they can
Yeah.
keep on bringing it up, but it's not. You don't need such a big majority to get something passed. It's like you can slow it down and stall the bill from going through, and I think it'll get changed then, is what I'm picking up. How does that feel for you, Susan?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, the Democrats, when we get in 24, we have to do big things quick. We're going
Mhm.
to have 2 years that we've got to show the American people. We've got to fix choice. We've got to make that a law. We've got to give that back to women. We've got to start fixing some of these gerrymandering. There's there's going to be like a laundry list of things. Filibuster is one of
Yeah.
them. And,
Well,
and the
that's gonna
Democrats
be
are going to have to
crucial.
just really do it.
It's gonna be crucial to get rid of the filibuster to actually get anything done, and I think that that's where, I mean, a lot of, it is a bit of a cult with the Trump and the MAGAs, but I think it really stems down to their distrust for the government and not seeing anything actually happening. It's the same old, same old. There's no real change, and it's like the government's not working for them. That's what they're desperate for. So you have somebody like Trump that says he's going to drain the swamp, and then they get kind of sucked into that cult.
Yeah.
It But that's really what it is. The people are frustrated that the government's not working for them. They're working for billionaires and huge corporations, and not for the little guy. But I see that changing. And the filibuster is going to have to be, you know, adjusted or changed to get anything done.
Absolutely. And I think the Trumpers aren't even going to vote very much
Mhm.
in 24 because
Yeah,
they also don't feel like anybody's doing anything. Like if you're going to scare people over and over again about the border, but yet you're not voting for anything for the border, then these people on X, Twitter, they're like, you guys aren't doing anything. You say that we have this problem at the border. It's a real problem, but you're not doing anything. So they're getting disillusioned.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the super chat, Chili Dog. Appreciate that. Yeah, I agree,
Absolutely.
and that's all part of their narrative. Like, they
Yeah.
wanna complain about something, they wanna complain about the economy, about the border, but then they don't do anything to fix it.
No.
It goes right into it. It gives them something to attack Democrats about,
Yeah.
so
But
they
their
use
own
it.
people are getting mad about it too. So
Mhm.
I think it's just going to be the Republican Party's going to fall apart, implode. You've seen the same thing. I've seen the same thing. I'm pretty sure Linda G has seen the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the timing of it. I do think it's going to happen before the election in 24. I'm not sure if it's going to happen in May or June or July, but I see it happening kind of in that time space. When
Yeah.
do you see it kind of falling apart?
Well, I agree, and it's already happening, is what my guys
It's
are telling me. It's
beginning.
already happening,
Yeah.
but it's like like I said, the energy continues to amplify with
Yeah.
this division amongst the Republicans. Now, that kind of goes into, I think, a place where people were asking about Hakeem Jeffries being speaker, and I think once that pressure continues, you will have some of the Republicans that are, a little bit more in the center or in Biden districts where they're going to be like, okay, we got to get away from this. We're going to have to work with Democrats to get anything done. They want to cut the cancer out of their party. And
Yeah.
so they'll be like, okay, well, since we clearly can't lead, it will only take a couple of them. And
Yeah.
then working with Democrats with a
Look, and then
Democratic
the Democrats are going to get
speaker.
blamed for everything. So it makes sense. It's like,
Uh-huh.
let's just give it all over to the Democrats. Let Jeffries run this place. They'll take the blame right before the election.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It makes sense to me. And plus, now there are only 2 seats after McCarthy sachets out. They're like 2 seat. They have a 2-seat majority. So if 2 people are sick or don't show up for the Republicans, theoretically, the Democrats could also call a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost got us a ball game. And this is what my guide said a few months ago. It was exactly this, that a few of these Republicans would either leave for whatever reason, and that would get close enough that, Jeffries could have an option. Now, do you see him? Do you see him being Speaker of the House between now and,
It's kind of
November
hard
24th?
to imagine intuiting it, but I have read on it before. And during the old speaker fights, I always got down to Jeffries being the speaker. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's
I can
interesting
see
because it feels like it's a bit of a delay. Like I could maybe see it like
May.
May, June, like early summer.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Right. I
I'll
mean,
take
it would be great, but I almost feel like too, like Johnson may be out in February, March. So then there's like things are kind
Who
of
might
stuck.
be out?
Johnson.
Oh, Johnson. Oh, now we talking. Okay. I need to bring my popcorn. Okay. All right. Johnson's
He's gonna
going to
have
be
problems with his with the conference when it comes back to voting for the budget, I feel.
okay.
And I have said I feel scandals coming out about him as well, but I
I
almost
feel scandals coming out. I swear, when I was reading with Sybil Harmony and she
Mhm.
said the closet door opens and all the porn flies out of the closet, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that for as long as I live. I'm like, oh my God, that is such a visual. I
Yeah.
like that visual. He's a weird dude. He's got lots of skeletons.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because I always get really creepy perv vibes with him. I almost feel, and this is kind of gross to even think about, but just kind of what comes through is like he's one that likes to be dominated and embarrassed, like spanked.
Yes.
That's what I pick up for him.
I got the same thing.
Okay.
When you look at his wife, you're like, dominatrix, hello.
I don't know what his wife looks like, but I feel like that's what does it for him.
And he's like, she's been on her knees praying. That's why she's not here. I'm like, son, she's not here because she is not your, you know what I mean? If she were under your control, if she was the good little wife, she'd be right there next to you,
Right.
Yeah, I totally get it. I got that same vibe. And then I thought, I got to clean my eyes out with bleach.
You need to burn some sage up in here.
I know, like, that was not, yeah.
Yeah, I got the same vibe. It was pretty gross.
I got the same vibe. I have not said that on YouTube yet, but I got the same damn vibe. And I waited to drink. I said, oh, he's about to say something. I'm not going to be taking a drink right now.
Yeah, there is something with that. I almost feel like even like scandal with his wife, and maybe it has to do with him hiding money. But I don't know if that's the reason for him leaving. I feel like the MAGAs turn on him like they did with McCarthy. And
desperate. They're desperate. They're desperate for power, for something, and he's not producing anything,
Yeah. Well, and he's going to have to work with Democrats, and then that's what they don't want.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then now it's even tighter,
That's right. So McCarthy really did put them in a vice, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like leaving in December actually really screws the Republicans because now they're one vote less. Oh my God, I see it now.
And Gavin Newsom will wait till the last moment to do that primary too, just for that, to keep that seat open.
I know he will. Yeah, he will. He will totally wait till the last minute to do that. He'll run out the clock, is what the guide said. He'll wait till the last minute. Yeah.
What do you feel about this? When they oust Johnson, are they going to be able to put another speaker in, or are we going to be stuck for a while? And then it finally gets to a point where it's like a few sane Republicans are like, okay, this is crazy. We need to, I guess we'll work with Democrats to get somebody in there.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. The guides are showing me rowing with one oar. So,
Okay.
you know, that means that we're going to be hobbled. We're not going to be able to have both parts of the house going together. But, you know, and thank you, Lady Leo.
Yes, thank you.
But, you know, Jeffries is brilliant and he's steely, and he's not going to jump in just to save the Republicans. He's going to let them languish too. You know, he's not going to jump in just because it would be the nice thing to do.
Yeah. And I've always felt like too, and maybe this is where I was picking up with Jeffries, I always felt like with maybe some people having to step down, that Democrats could actually,
that's what I thought.
Like one seat, like take over.
That's exactly what I saw. So I there's going to be one more person that goes out, like McHenry, the speaker pro tem. He's announced he's not coming back, but he's saying he's going to wait until his race. But I think somebody else is going to go. And you know who I just saw? And again, I don't know how, guys, by this point, we understand that these things happen and we don't know why or how they happen. They just do. But I just saw Marge. I just saw Large Marge, and she may be leaving. She may be leaving in April. What do you get on that? Do you feel like there's any energy around that at all?
I'm feeling yes, but I'd always like kind of felt like maybe she would get reelected and then with the January 6th trouble be forced out. Because I feel like there's a good possibility she'll end up behind bars.
I do too. I think she might be out in April. I don't know what is happening besides an eclipse. There's a lot of astrological stuff, but for me that I read energy, it's like everything happens in April. Like Putin maybe crosses over, you know, just a lot of stuff happens in April. So I don't know why, but I feel like I really think she might step down. And I think Boebert has something to do with it.
Interesting. Because I was going to go ahead.
No, I just think Boebert, no fingerprints, but we all know who it was.
For what?
For Marjorie to step down.
Okay. It's interesting because you were saying MTG, and I felt like maybe Boebert would be leaving before the election. And that would be a Democratic flip, I feel. Just like Santos, I feel a Democrat taking his seat. And then if you have a few seats where they're not occupied, Democrats could take over.
Well, that's the thing, right? Even if those races don't happen for a few months, the Democrats would probably be taking over the House in the interim. I don't know. This MTG just came.
All right.
It is her energy. She has her energy to me is very heavy and solid and grounded. You know what I mean? And Boebert's is kind of wispy to me. So
do you get a feeling why she may be forced out? Like, I know you said Boebert, but
well, she's forced out because they force her out. It's sort of like a Cawthorn thing. It's like a Santos thing. It's a scandal. And again, the Republicans are holding on by a thread. They're basically holding on by a thread, and it's the same energy that I got when you were talking about how some Republicans might vote to have Jeffries, because I feel like some of those Republicans are like, take the spotlight off of us.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Let us be in mayhem in the dark and let Jeffries take over this crazy stuff that, you know, let Jeffries try to get a vote out of us instead of us trying to get a vote out of the Dems, right? So it's the same energy of why they would push MTG out. And I honestly think Trump is against her and he takes her out too. I'm seeing that picture where she showed up and she was in that red dress and she was in the line where he would walk by to, you know, he came out of his plane and she ran up and he just walked past her. He totally dissed her.
Mhm.
There's something going on there. So I think by April, he's blaming her. Think about it. By April, if he's not doing well, he's going to be blaming all these people.
Yeah. I kind of got a hit, and I agree with you. I felt when you were saying she was leaving, I definitely felt like there was energy around that, like it somewhat resonated. But what do you think about if it has to do with something with Kevin McCarthy and him
It
leaving?
could. It could, because he's going to be gunning for them too. I really
Mhm.
feel like, now that you've helped me see this whole thing, that he's leaving to screw those Republicans. And I think you're right. I think that he's not done yet.
Yeah.
He may come back around and run again, or he may somehow, be involved in the party through a surrogate, like through Kissinger, or
Mhm.
through Liz Cheney. He's
I don't
not
know.
done. He wants revenge.
Yeah. I don't even know though if Liz Cheney even wants to work with McCarthy right now. Maybe eventually, but I think that there's bad blood between the two of
I
them.
agree. I agree. It would have to be a while. It would have to be May of next year. It'd have to be several months for
Yeah.
that to,
I almost wonder though if it comes out like
what?
information of the deal that she made with McCarthy to because she was his puppet in the House for a while, and it almost
Right,
feels
I
like it's
forgot.
related with that. So it's like you traitor.
That's right.
This
That's
is
right. They were
this is what you
like,
did to the Republican Party by making a deal for McCarthy.
people thought they were having an affair.
Mhm.
That's right. And look at this. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Kelly Ramsey says MTG says McCormick from Georgia grabbed and shook her in a meeting. Y'all, it's pay for view now. The Republicans should just put this on pay for view and make money off of it.
Yeah.
It's like a cage match up in there.
You have McCarthy punching people in the kidneys and
That's right. That's right. And Lindsey Graham is screaming. I mean, they're really feeling the
the
pressure
pressure.
of Jack Smith and those
Mhm.
indictments and those investigations. They're
Yeah.
feeling the pressure of it.
I saw a good question come in, and I want your opinion on it because they were talking about it a little bit earlier. But do you think Congress will fund the Ukraine before the current funding runs out?
And that runs out, I understand, at the end of the month. Is that correct? I think
Yeah.
it runs out at the end of December, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. Right now I'm getting yes, but I got to know earlier. I'm getting a yes. I'm getting a Hail Mary. I'm getting a
Okay.
last minute. I don't know. What are you getting?
I felt like it was just after. I felt like it was maybe in January.
Could be. Could be
There
just after. Right. A Hail
well,
Mary.
mhm.
But they
Do you
don't,
think
when do they take office in January? Mid-January?
I don't know, but
Probably.
and that's the thing though too. You have the break coming up.
I
So they're
know.
not going to really be there. They probably have like a week or something to do something, and I just don't see them there right now. I almost felt like I had seen before that Biden was able to give them some resources. It's not exactly anywhere near what they need, but I almost felt like our allies in Europe coming together and kind of helping out while we're kind of trying to figure things out. If
Yeah.
that makes sense, like them
Yes.
having to take a
Yes.
step up to help.
Yes. So I don't see them being without funding. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So energetically speaking, they've got funding. And I think as long as we get the United States funding to them by like February 1st, they're going to be okay. There's something
Mhm.
about March. There's something happening in March for Ukraine, and they
Yeah.
need that money by March. I mean, they need that money in advance of March.
Okay.
So,
That makes sense. But I almost feel like too, I feel like it's gonna be hard on both sides, Ukraine and Russia for the winter. I feel like the winter conditions are gonna be really tough for them this year.
like a little bit of a stalemate.
Mhm.
That's
But
why I think March is so important.
it almost feels like the Ukrainians, they just have that fighter spirit and they have more resources, I think, with, like, keeping warm, where it feels like I feel like there's quite a bit of Russian soldiers that are
Yeah.
freezing.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think that is very, very true.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
But I
do.
do
And I
feel like
think
they'll
they're
get
gonna
it.
get planes.
It's just
What's
a bit
that?
delayed. I said I feel them getting
It's just gonna
funding.
be delayed.
It's delayed, unfortunately.
And people were asking me about the planes. The guides have always said that the fighter planes is gonna be the game changer. Once they
Hmm.
get those F-16s, it's game over. And my God, why aren't they there yet? I know their pilots are training, learning
Hmm.
English. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure what the delay is. Do you have an idea for timing on when they're going to get the fighter planes? Maybe it's the money. I don't know.
I agree with you. I always felt they were going to get the planes. I actually had, I think, a vision of planes going into Ukraine. They were like going over a mountain and getting into Ukraine, and this was months ago.
I know exactly. Like September, I saw
But it
all this
almost
in
feels
September.
like, what do you feel about this? Like, I do feel like maybe they're still learning on how to fly them in the meantime, because I do feel like they might already have some, just like hush hush. But it almost feels like when you're saying they'll need them for March, I feel like it goes in with Putin passing and then them maybe taking an offense
Okay, all
into
right.
Russia. If does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And so, do you see? I was reading with Alan. Both of us were getting that there could be sort of you might call it a coalition of countries that come together to, let's just say, usher Putin out a window. Let's just say
Okay.
that. Do you see that happening? Because he was saying, and I kind of agree with this, that um, it has a little something to do with the Middle East. Like, we need a deal here. We're going to help you, but you need to help us with this.
I've always felt him being taken out as a possibility, but I almost wonder if the health is what takes him out first.
But
Because
his health could be bad tea.
I almost well, and I've gotten that outcome before too. So it feels like if the health doesn't take him out first, that is going to be what happens. I almost feel like I feel him passing probably January, February, and then it
That's
comes
what
out
I've
in March
gotten
or
to.
April.
That's exactly what I've gotten.
Because they're going to try to figure out. There's going to be power grabs when he goes. Like,
That's right.
okay, well, we'll keep putting the double out here
That's
in the
right.
meantime while we kind of figure out who's making
But
all the power plays. And then I think it probably comes out, and then there's an interim person, and then there's actually a better leader coming up after this
that's
interim guy.
exactly what I got. So the
Mhm.
interim leader's not so great, not Putin, but not so great. And then there's a better leader coming up. And so, but don't you think the interim leader is going to help Ukraine a little bit? It's going to kind of back off or take a little bit of the pressure off of
A
Ukraine, or no?
little bit, but I still feel like they're a military force where they're still kind
Yeah,
of forceful.
I agree. I had the exact same thing. Um, but not as bad as Putin, not quite
Right.
as bad as Putin, but definitely a military energy.
The
Um,
energy starts to wane after Putin's gone, where it's not so extreme. But I have said I feel like there's going to be disputes over the territories that
yeah,
Russia has taken, like in the Donbass
and
area
Crimea.
and the Crimea. But it's kind of like maybe this is where they need the jets so they can play offense, and then it gives them more negotiation room.
Yeah, and
Well,
they
they're not
and they
going to
have.
negotiate; they're going to get their land back.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to get their land back because Zelensky will crawl over broken glass, bare
Mhm.
chested. He won't. And Biden 100% stands with Zelensky, 100%.
Yep.
So yeah, I agree with all of that. So that's fascinating. Um,
What do you feel about with the Ukraine bill? They're saying that border security has to be tied into it. Do you feel like there is
that's
going to
what they
be?
were screaming about today. Apparently, that's what Lindsay was screaming. They were shouting
Mhm.
over Schumer today. Um,
Well, and the House is saying the same thing. Like,
that's what I
that's
mean. Yeah.
fine. We're not doing anything with Ukraine until you address the border situation.
What is the border situation? I mean, my God, we've got a wall that we paid for
Mhm.
that is ridiculous. I don't know what they want. I don't even know what the heck they want except for maybe money, or I don't even know what they want. But the problem is Schumer and our leaders are saying, no, this has to be separate. So
I almost feel like by the time they get to it, it's going to be after the holidays season. Like I said,
so this is going to
January.
be deadlock.
And it almost feels like I don't think Republicans are getting everything that they're screaming about right now, but I do feel like there is some resources. So it's a bit of a negotiation with the border stuff, border resources, and then they kind of agree with the Ukraine funding is kind of what I'm feeling. But it's not like super extreme. There's a compromise.
There's a compromise. I feel like there's a compromise, and I don't think we're giving the house away. I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
That is part of the compromise.
It's like they need something to look like they got a little bit of a win.
Exactly. They just need something to take back to their people.
Yeah. It's all about optics for the Republican Party.
It's exactly right. Somebody kept asking, go ahead, dear.
No, you go ahead.
Somebody kept asking about Eileen Cannon. And I think they were asking, will she be removed? I think we both saw her at some point not being on the court. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But I don't see that right now.
I don't know when. I'm not getting like a clear timeline. It still feels murky to me.
It doesn't feel imminent. But that case is sort of written off. We don't even need that case. You know what I mean? That's a Mickey Mouse court. We've got Fani Willis. We got Jack Smith. Didn't Jack Smith announce today another unidentified co-conspirator? He threw another thing in there.
Oh, I don't know.
It's still, things are still happening. Do not worry. I'm not worried about for some reason I've just written it off, right? Like we got Fani Willis and Jack Smith that's going to take Trump out. And Wisconsin, which one was it? The state that came in, and I think Jack Smith is using them, putting them in his case, the fake electors. He's thrown some new surprises out today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always felt too, I feel like more indictments coming from Jack Smith. I've been getting that for like 2 months.
I do too. A whole new case. A whole new thing.
I think it's starting to go after some of those closest
Congress people, some of the Congress people.
I do feel like there might be a couple in there, but I've always felt it comes in kind of like stages, like waves. Yeah. Good. That's what I was going to say.
And maybe that's what happens to MTG. Maybe she's one of the first ones to get an indictment, and she doesn't have to step down. She can, obviously look at Santos. I mean, she can be an elected official while she's having her day in court, but they railroad. The words I just heard was they're going to railroad her out. Okay. So I'm going to be I think I'm going to be very happy in March and April.
Yeah. Well, there's something big happening towards the end of December. It feels like it doesn't stop, but I do feel like March, April, and May are huge months. December is though too.
December is big. We feel like it's big, but whatever happens in December, I think it's going to be doubled in March, April, and May.
Got you. Yeah, I agree.
So Nevada, but I think also there was another state. I just heard it was Wisconsin. I think it was Wisconsin. So these things are starting to bubble up. They're starting to really. I think it was Wisconsin. You guys can tell me.
That sounds right.
That's a lot of pressure. Think about it. It's almost like the cops are surrounding your house. You know what I mean? And these Republicans know that they're dirty. They know they've got video of them. How about Mike Johnson saying, well, we're going to release these videos, but we have to blur the faces to protect the innocent. That's obstruction right there.
The thing is it is, but it isn't, because the DOJ already has copies of
it. Has them.
So it's not going to really, and we've seen them. They've been public for a while. It's all about the Republican optics that January 6th, there wasn't a coup. It was a peaceful protest. And that's what they keep trying to do. That's what Fox keeps trying to do. Didn't McCarthy give Fox tapes and they never used them?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Gave Tucker Carlson the tapes, right?
Yeah. What's your feeling about Nikki Haley? Because obviously, I think she's going to be the front runner after Trump. She's going to be like the number 2. DeSantis is waning. Nikki Haley is taking his spot. I think that there's a debate tonight, actually, which I don't know why they keep having all these debates, because nobody's watching them. It's like all of the candidates on the debates, they have like 20% of the vote, and Trump has 80. So why even waste the time with it?
Well, that's a really good point. But I think there's pressure behind to me, the money bags are wanting these debates because they're trying to
Exactly.
wrest the control from Trump, because they can't control Trump. They can control Nikki Haley. They can say, jump, sit, wear this outfit, whatever. Yes. So I really feel like maybe these debates are sponsored by these people that really want to change the narrative away from Trump. I think Nikki Haley right now, you're right. She's the front runner. She's going to be the front runner. I don't think I see her making it past whatever this melee is in March, April, May. I think June, the guides, this made so much sense when they finally described it this way. For months, they've been saying this, but now they finally gave me an analogy that makes sense. It's like, if you think of it like this, like all of these people are remote controlled robots, and the money is their battery. So as long as they have money coming in, their battery's good and they can go and do their thing. And when the money's out, the battery dies and the robot just falls over. That's what I see in May. It's all these Republicans just falling over. And I feel like she might be one of the last ones.
I think she will be the last one.
But I'm not sure I'm not sure I see her on the ballot in November. Do you see her on the ballot in November? I don't know where she goes. I don't know where these people go, but it's like they just go poof.
I almost wonder, too, if it's such a landslide early on in the primary for Trump, and then something happens with Trump, so like he has the votes, or like everybody drops out, and then I've always felt like chaos and come like the convention. I think that's in July, and maybe it's even right before.
There. You got it. Trump's power makes everybody stand down, and then Trump either leaves, gets his heavenly Uber ride or whatever he does, and then the Republicans are going to have to write somebody in.
But it's so messed up. The MAGAs are so angry with the rhinos and vice versa.
They're not going to vote.
A lot of them are not going to vote.
They're just going to stay home. And do you think they're going to vote and write in somebody? Because I'm not sure they can spell things. And if you've ever done a write-in vote, the spelling has to be exact. Like if somebody spells the name wrong, I mean, I did a write-in in my community. And this poor person had some crazy name with a vowel or a consonant. And like them was like, what the hell? Yeah, we were all like, we had to write down the name so that we could make it make sense. It's not like Jones or something, it's just like something really difficult. So is Cheney with an A or an E? Is there an E after the N? That it's going to be chaos. It's going to be mayhem.
Yeah, mayhem. I agree.
And then the Democrats are just going to walk right past all that mayhem and just take their seats in the Congress, the Senate, and the presidency.
Yeah. I don't feel like it's a total blowout.
It should be more of a blowout, but it's not.
It should, right. But I think because it's so competitive and the Republican base always votes, it feels like it's chaos when it comes to the presidential. But then when it comes to the Senate and the House,
down ballot,
it's going to be a little bit closer. But I do feel some good surprises in the Senate. Like, it's such a hard Senate map for Democrats. Republicans don't. They have a couple seats that they're defending, and they're all in pretty red states. And Democrats have Democrats in red states that they're defending, like Sherrod Brown and John Tester. What's his name? Manchin isn't running in West Virginia, but so that's going to flip. But I almost feel like there's like 2 red states that the Senate map turns blue, at least 2.
That we pick up. Yes, I agree with you. At least 2. And that could change between now and then, because obviously some kind of crazy chaos is going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I almost wonder if it's
even
Texas and Florida, those Senate races go blue. But I do feel good too about, I feel like there's a possibility for the guy in going against Hawley in Missouri, because I feel Hawley out. Maybe he steps down and a Republican takes it. I'm not sure, but I do see Hawley leaving. And I feel like there's a huge grassroots campaign to get Gloria Johnson in Tennessee
yes,
to win.
I do too. Like, this woman probably shouldn't win. Like,
Mhm.
she's going against somebody who's entrenched, who might be devil's daughter herself, but I see Gloria Johnson winning.
Yeah.
I do. It's like spirit is behind her.
I
she's
see
gonna
Taylor
win.
Swift really supporting her and propping her up. Like, it feels like Taylor Swift is part of her
Okay.
campaign and getting people out to
That could
register
be,
to
because
vote.
that's Nashville.
Mhm.
That could be. Yeah. I love her. I love Gloria Johnson. And
Yeah.
I love the Tennessee 3. So that's got divine energy all over it. I totally agree with that. And that's
I don't feel like it's set in stone. I feel like it's going to be really close, but I feel like there's energy where she could win. Absolutely.
I put it like this. I would donate to her. Like, I feel so good about it that let's send her $25. You know what I mean? Like, your money is not, this is not a long shot. It's a good possibility.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So there are some red states at play, I think, for the Senate. The House
So
feels
what
like
about
it's going.
Texas? You just glossed over us. I mean, you just gave me a little bit of hope, and then you just left me hanging.
I feel like that's definitely a possibility. I've always felt Ted Cruz out. Like I said, Hawley. And I think Scott in Florida.
Scott in Florida. Nice. Oh, man. If we got a seat in Texas and Florida, oh, man, I would be for sure celebrating.
It's always hard, though, to read it because we know there's a lot of corruption in
That's
two
right.
states. I have to be careful with what we say.
I know. Shenanigans. I just use that, shenanigans.
Florida still feels a bit tough for me, but Texas actually feels like purple to me. But I feel like it's been purple too, even though we're not seeing that.
I agree with you. I agree. I think absolutely. Absolutely.
So I guess we'll see. And that's why it's so important to get out and vote. Tell your family, friends. It is still important. We can't be complacent. We do have to go out and vote. But if I feel
and support these people that are running. You know what I mean? Send them $5. I mean, if you got a few bucks and they don't even live in your state, yet you hate the person they're running against, send them $5, $10, you know?
Absolutely.
We have to support them. This is not a guaranteed thing. And it is interesting. Somebody said that Biden, I heard this on NPR today, that Biden, you know how he's the king of gaffes. He said, yeah, here it is. I probably wouldn't be running if Trump weren't in the race. And now apparently he's having to walk that back. And the White House is making a special statement about it.
I think we all knew what he meant, though. We all knew what he meant. But not to say that Biden sees the threat that Trump is and the MAGAs are to our country. And that's why he's running. I think he would much prefer not to be president. I mean, he is up there in age. It's a lot of work. It's the hardest job in the world. There's so much stress, associated with it. But he knows, he feels so responsible for our country and our democracy that he would even sacrifice his own happiness or his own energy to make sure that Trump is out. That's what he meant by that.
Yeah, that's what he meant by it.
But I don't see that he's going to run. Biden will win in 2024.
Yeah, he's Yep.
All right.
We're lucky to have him.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. I had some questions started here, and I feel like we went through a lot of them.
We probably did.
So we don't feel Haley, although I feel it's interesting too because the money was behind DeSantis, and now they're all leaving him. All of his campaign people are leaving him. Oh, I got a hit, and I forgot to share it. I do feel like Chris Christie is going to drop out very soon.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I do too.
He won't make it to the primaries.
He's still going to be on every news program shooting darts at everybody.
They're trying to pressure him to to stop running and to support Nikki Haley, and I actually feel like he might.
You think he's going to throw his weight behind Nikki Haley?
I think so.
All right.
Well, I don't see Nikki Haley winning the nomination. Even if Trump wins it and something happens, I don't see her on the ballot. I don't see it.
Exactly. I don't either. But the money is going to try to make it happen. I
Mhm.
mean, they're going to try to wrest this from Trump and anoint their person that they can control.
Absolutely.
And they, so that's going to be fun to watch, just to see them, because I saw them doing a makeover of her, like I'm not saying she needs one, but somehow they're going to give her new talking points. They're really going to, especially after DeSantis, right?
Mhm.
DeSantis was just such a weird dude.
Yeah.
So they know they need somebody who's,
They would have loved to go back to give the money to Youngkin, but Youngkin knows that it's going to be a shit show, and he's not
Youngkin
doing it
doesn't want
now.
this. He's like,
He'll
why
go
would
in
I want this?
2028,
This is
though.
going to jack my life up. Yeah, 2028, when it's all fixed.
Mm-hmm.
When Biden and Kamala Harris got it, and the Democrats got it all working nice and fine, that's when Republicans take it over. He doesn't want it until it's nice and fixed.
Thank you so much for becoming a member.
Aw, you guys know he's got a membership. Kevin has a membership. So be sure and subscribe, and also check out his membership.
Absolutely. And we have almost 1,100 in the room right now. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and please do us a favor, hit that thumbs up. Just to plug myself real quick, I checked, I'm like 100 subscribers away from 10K, and my goal is to hit it before the end of this year. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, would you please do me a favor? Please subscribe. We'll do a giveaway for a free reading and a free Reiki session when I hit 10K. Of course, I'm sure most of you are already subscribed to Susan Lynn Psychic Medium, but if you're not, she's amazing. She gives a lot of content. Go subscribe to her channel as well. But any help to help me get to 10K, I would really appreciate.
You're only 100 away?
I'm
Come
only
on, you guys, we can do that tonight.
I feel like we're going to hit it before the end of the year. That was my goal.
All right.
I was at 5K last December, so
nice.
Yeah.
You doubled.
Almost doubled. Yep.
That's exciting. That's awesome.
Oh, and thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for becoming a member. We do I do two live streams with my members group. We do a Reiki and prayer circle once a month, and then I do questions and answers, for many personal or political, spiritual questions too. So all right. So is there anything that I feel like we've touched so much already. Is there anything that you want to read on, or any hits that you've been getting lately, Susan, that you wanted to share?
All of a sudden, for the last few minutes, I've been getting something about the Supreme Court. And I'm seeing Coney Barrett. And I don't know why I'm seeing Coney Barrett, but she's in my energy right now. Is she fighting with somebody? I feel like she was fighting with, was she having with McCarthy or somebody? There's somebody, wasn't there a Congress? Now, this might not be overt. This might be a little snide comment that's taken the wrong way. But what do you see? We've read on the Supreme Court before, but we haven't read on the Supreme Court in the last month or 6 weeks.
Yeah. It's been
I think we both see people leaving, like, Kennedy up and left overnight. Scalia, what happened to him? Stuff can happen, you guys. I mean, I know it seems impossible, but do you see any of these people leaving before, say, June of next year? Or if you really want to make me happy, you can even say something sooner.
Well, that's where it is. It's the timing of everything that gets hard. But I do feel Thomas will leave before the next election. June actually feels like it might be a good time frame.
June.
I've
been feeling Thomas leave. He's like McConnell. He just won't. The energy suggests, it's like you said, you got all these terrible cards, and yet they still won. It's like some of these people defy the energy. They're like, you can't make me. I don't care. McConnell's one of those people. Thomas is one of those people. They just don't care with the energy.
Right. He would, but I almost feel like he's forced out. I do feel pressure, obviously, with his wife and her involvement with January 6th. the dark money stuff, which I think might be the explosive thing in December. More dark money channel stuff being released. But I always, when I look at him, I always gets pulled right to his solar plexus area, like from
Thomas.
health. Thomas. Solar plexus, like liver,
Oh,
stomach,
liver.
gut.
Ooh, yes. Okay, I got that. Yeah, I got that.
It's like I see
Maybe
his
even
eyes and they're
pancreas.
yellow, like the jaundice kind of.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much for the super sticker, Tina. Thank you.
You're
Blessings.
right. But I saw the same thing with Coney Barrett, but I saw more ovaries, or now I'm getting lungs. I feel like both of them could have health problems.
Mhm. I could see ovaries for Amy Coney Barrett, but I almost feel like it's maybe another year or two out,
Do
or
you
at least
really?
before it's bad or it's
Sometimes I
announced.
just want you to lie to me, Kevin.
If I've always felt like Thomas leaves, and then it feels like I've always felt Kavanaugh, but I almost feel like Roberts might leave before Kavanaugh, and then Barrett's the next one.
A lot of people have gotten Kavanaugh. I agree. I mean, it's a cesspool. They
Mhm.
all know that they're on the hook, that they're going to be ethically, really diminished.
Yeah.
What about Jenny and my favorite person, Liz Cheney, who refuses to talk about Jenny Thomas, even in her book? I mean, she's dishing all this dirt, but skips over Jenny Thomas. What's that
Mhm.
about?
Oh, well, I'm sure that her family and the Thomases have had a relationship for a long time, and she doesn't wanna hurt that relationship. I that's where it is, like, I'm not a fan of Liz Cheney's politics. I don't support her. I think even if she were to run, I don't think she would gather much Democratic support because she is so far conservative. The thing is that you can, in some aspects, I do have respect for her that she pretty much sacrificed her career in the moment, her seat to stand up to Trump, to stand up for the democracy, but she's still a snake at the end of the day, you know?
So do you think this thing that's going to maybe ensnare is the word that they're using, Thomas, or ensnare Jenny, that could then implicate Thomas? Do you think that's going to, I don't think it's going to get to Cheney.
I don't
Do
think
you
so
think it's
either.
going
I
to
don't
get
pick
to
that up
her?
at
I
all.
feel like a wall between them, like a cold energy.
Between
She's
Cheney
between
and
Cheney and Jenny, as
uh-huh.
far as like a commingling of an indictment, or
Mm.
I feel like Cheney has protected herself from that.
Yeah, I don't feel her being dragged into that drama. But I do feel like with when it came to January 6th, they were talking about maybe calling Ginny to testify, I believe, and
Right.
Cheney stopped it. So
Cheney
she's like,
said
I
no.
had your back. But then it's like the disappointment that she continues to kind of put herself out there and get in more trouble. She's like, okay, girl, I'm done. Bye. It's a distance between the two of them.
I feel that. I feel a
I
coldness.
can't save you anymore, is what I just
Yeah.
kinda feel.
Yeah. And I'm not going down for you.
Mhm.
So you can forget that. So that's interesting. Okay. So if you had to say right now, do you see any Supreme Court judges stepping down before May at all?
I don't know if it's before May, but I feel June feels good for Thomas. But I do feel like there might be pressure for, and this is kind of surprising, but for Roberts.
Roberts.
I almost
Roberts.
feel like with all of this
Roberts.
stuff that's about to be exposed, and we're already starting to see some of the pressure with them taking stuff, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And he's almost like, what legacy am I going to have for my name? Like wanting to
Right.
distance himself from it, even though he's benefited by it too, or his wife has.
Right.
Um,
I think he'll step down. It's like the
I see
McCarthy
him
energy. He
resigning.
has McCarthy energy. Like, I'm out. This is crazy town. I'm out.
I agree. That's what I'm
That
feeling.
would be is that a record? I mean, a chief justice. I mean, you could say he's retiring, but he's quite young
Mhm.
for for a chief justice to retire.
I almost feel though like he's not going to retire until after the election. I feel like Thomas will go down before the election. Like there's one, and then it's like Roberts and Kavanaugh 2025.
And then
Maybe
you see
2026.
who's in 26.
I was saying they would leave after the election in 2025, maybe beginning of 2026 between the two of them.
Okay. All right. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I wish it was sooner too.
It just doesn't work for me. I need that whole timeline to move up a year.
Yeah. It's frustrating. It's going to be a bit frustrating too, because even with, we talk about all these Congress people that are going to get in trouble. You know how long it's going to take for them to actually bring the case. It's not going to be before the election, but there's going to be all the talks. They're going to be in the news.
They may step down though.
Some of them
the
will step
pressure
down,
might
absolutely.
be too much and they step down. Like I think Grassley's either going to cross over or step down.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know what's going on with MTG, but she's scared. She's scared.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she's in trouble for sure. Gates, Boebert, I don't know. All the other ones that were, some of them aren't even in the Congress anymore. I can't remember all their name. Biggs. Who was the one that just, their text messages were just coming out about their communications with like January 6th? I just asked it yesterday on my show. But like the DOJ got their text messages. Do you know who I'm talking about, Susan?
No, I hadn't heard about it yet. You guys
Somebody
know who he's talking about?
Know what I'm talking about.
Scott Perry.
Scott Perry, yeah.
Perry? Okay, thanks, Wiki.
When I heard they took his phone and were looking for his text messages, I felt like it was huge, and I feel like that is what's going to implicate some of these people. And so this is like the first or second wave of indictments. And then everybody is turning on everybody, trying to save themselves, trying to make some kind of deal. And it's going to be huge.
It's going to be chaos. And I'm telling you, I don't think they're going to want to be in Congress because it's a lot more expensive to defend yourself in the court of public opinion. Keep your donors happy, keep your constituents happy, keep the feds off your back. If you just step down, you only have to worry about the feds.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cheaper. It's just easier. So I think a lot of these people are going to step down. They're just going to, their donors are going to say, you're a problem for us, right? I mean, AT&T, Home Depot, they're going to be like, you're a problem. We're not going to be donating to you. So you might as well just leave. And I think they'll leave. I think they'll leave.
Some of them will. Some of them will try to fight it. Like
not,
I feel like
not all of them. We only need 2 or 3. I only need 2 or 3. And then that changes. That brings Jeffries in.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely brings Jeffries in.
Yeah.
If that happens around May, even June.
I've always felt Jim Jordan getting reelected, but right after reelection is when he gets the downfall with all the January 6th. Because I've even felt maybe Jim Jordan spending some time behind bars. It couldn't be sooner, but
I think he could be behind bars. I have never felt MTG so strongly as I do right now. Somebody must have either leaked or she's got a letter of intent to be investigated because she is freaking out right now energetically. And I don't see Gates freaking out. Gates has got a different energy. He really doesn't freak out. He doesn't care. I don't know.
He will be soon, though. He will be freaking out soon.
You think he'll freak out?
He's going to be in trouble for January 6th, and I've always felt the Florida stuff coming back.
Florida's coming back for him, and that's really going to snap him in his butt.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Absolutely. Somebody said that let me see. Shar says that she felt Cheney is more valuable in the private sector than government. I think she'll be pulled out of politics. I don't. I see her being crucial and a leader again in the Republican Party. That's just, I've always felt her.
She wants to be president. She thinks that she is the leader leader of the Republican Party. This is what I've always seen. Yeah. She is valuable in the private sector. You're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right about that. But she sees herself in a position of power
Yeah.
in the Republican Party. She's just waiting for it to implode so that she can walk through, the shattered windows and the burned out carpet, and the chandelier that's swinging sideways. I just see
Right.
her walking through that destruction, like
Mhm. It's
now
like
it's
my
all mine.
vision. She's in the wings waiting for the opportunity to
That's
run
it.
center stage
That's
and be
it.
that leader, to be the one to save the Republican Party. That's what she's
But
waiting for.
here's what this person might be picking up on. Have you ever seen Liz Cheney as president?
No.
See, I me either. So that's why I think you're picking up on. You may be picking up on her energy 8 years from now or 10 years from now when she is, in a think tank or the Federalist
Mhm.
Society or wherever she's at. But her energy, like right now for the next 4 years to 5, 6 years, is president, president, president.
It's not gonna get that far, though, because even after the Republican Party implodes, there's the MAGAs will not vote for her, and they'll tend to probably stay with Republicans even though it's gonna take them a while, I think, to kind of settle down all of the craziness, but they won't vote for her. That's the
I
issue.
don't think so either.
She's not
She's a
liked enough.
traitor. She's a traitor to them. I mean,
Mhm.
she's always going to be a traitor to them. But that's maybe that makes sense. I mean, we see her plotting. She's plotting, but we don't see her winning. But she's
Mhm.
she's a formidable opponent. She's somebody that we need to take seriously. However,
I could see her actually, as she's trying to rebuild the Republican Party, it could even be like a RNC chair, or I think she might get back in the Congress and maybe shoot for um
Senate.
no, I feel her in the House, like the leader of the Republican Party. I
Do
think
you
it would be
see
a
her?
minority leader. I don't see her as speaker.
Do you see her as like if a Republican got in office, God forbid, do you see her as like Secretary of State or
I don't think
Secretary of
so.
Transportation or in
I
the
don't see her in the
cabinet at all?
cabinet. No.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It feels like it's all about, I feel her focus is on rebranding, rebuilding the Republican
The
Party.
Republican Party. That's exactly what I've always said since for the last 2 or 3 years. So Liz, honey, if you're watching, girl, just give it up. Just give it up and, you know,
I mean, I
be
think
a law professor.
she'll be in a leadership position, but it's not president. It's
Yeah,
not.
give up that president craziness.
This is a really good point too. Anastasia says, "How are state Republicans going to run their elections because a lot of them are broke?" Exactly. People are donating to Trump. The
Yes.
base is donating to Trump, who's taken the money for his legal and his own personal. And there is nothing. He's not giving any of that money to any of the other campaigns. So
Bankrupting. He's
they're going to
bankrupting.
have a hard time in 2024 when all the money is going to the Democrats.
Yes. You're right. You're right.
That is part of, I think, there's so much happening with the Republican Party, and this is definitely the resources is a part of it. But there's so much happening in the Republican Party and with Trump. It feels like, but come election time, the Republican Party, I get like a vision of them having a foul odor around them, and nobody wants to vote for them. Everybody's like, no, thanks. Like they discuss me. Like stay
They
away.
disgust me. Somebody said they're going to vote libertarian. Kat said they're going to vote, and I agree. I
I
think
could
some
see
of
that
them will
absolutely.
switch to libertarian. That's really kind of what they espouse anyway, right? As libertarian principles. So that might be it. They might do a protest vote and vote for libertarian.
Now there was I don't want to say a big part, but there was even a small group of Democrats that were Obama supporters that went to Trump. I mean, in here in Ohio, it's because they want that message of change. The government doesn't work for them. And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
Drain the swamp, even though he is the swamp. He is draining the swamp actually, because he's exposing all of their corruption, not in the way that he meant it, but.
Well, you think the DNC would recognize this and get off of their fat behinds and be a little bit more, nimble, a little bit more representative of their big tent,
We're going to get there with the Democratic Party, and I do feel like there's more energy with it, but I'm a lifelong Democrat. I probably always will be, but the Democrats are not good at messaging or fighting back. And I feel like the younger leadership coming in, as some of the older leadership retires and all of that, this younger progressive energy, it has that fire that we need for the
And
Democrats.
Jeffries does too. Jeffries is fighting back, and Biden has started fighting back. So they are getting the message. It's just a little bit slow, but they are getting the message.
But they're not the best with the messaging and the outreach.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sharon, if you're not feeling well, I hope you feel better, dear. I think Sharon Sipe is not feeling well. Take good care, dear.
I'm sorry, Sharon. Yeah, rest up. Sending you a lot of love, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been on for a little over an hour. Is there anything else that we want to end on, I think? It's the media. I agree with that, but it is Democrats too. It's both. And it's the media because the Democrats are in power with Biden. Definitely, they're not touting his accomplishments. He's done a lot. He doesn't get any recognition for it. But Democrats also, I think, we're starting to see it. Gavin Newsom just went on Fox News and debated DeSantis, but you're not seeing a whole lot of Democrats going on Fox News and trying to talk to Republican bases, or playing fire with fire. When it's like the Obamas, when they go low, we go high. It's kind of not standing up for yourself or calling out the crazy, and that's something that they need to do.
And your guy, Pete Buttigieg, is the best. When he goes on Fox News, it is a bloodbath. I mean, he just...
There's no matching minds with Pete.
He's the best debater I've ever seen. I mean, he is just phenomenal. He's sharp. He's quick. He's knowledgeable. Somebody wanted to know about Hunter Biden. I guess what's going on with him, Hilda wanted to know. So he's saying, if I've got this correct, but Hunter is saying, I'll go before the Congress, but it's got to be published. I'm not going to go in some backroom kind of deal. Mm-hmm. So now they're saying they're going to drag him into, they're going to charge him, with contempt or something. I just don't know.
I feel like he's going to testify, but I think if anything, it really backfires on Republicans because they won't allow it to be public. We all know what they're doing. It's all about the optics, right? But it doesn't make them look good when he's calling them out like, sure, I'll come in and testify, make it public. I feel like when he does testify, though, Democrats are going to be really good at all the talking points afterwards and saying what actually happened. And we're going to hear about it. I don't think it's going to be videoed, but it feels like there's enough notes and stuff like that. That's what I feel. Anyway.
So it's not, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I don't think it's going to be this big deal. And then now they're bringing out the fact that Hunter paid his dad back for that truck. It's like, are you guys serious? This is his son. His son paid him back for a truck. And this is what you guys want to impeach Biden over. Okay, go right ahead. Continue to make a fool and a mockery of yourselves. Go right ahead.
Isn't the hypocrisy crazy? Because where's all the outrage for Jared Kushner making $2 billion from the Saudis? But, the difference is that Kushner was actually in the Trump administration. Hunter Biden isn't in his father's administration. So I would say that that's a little bit worse. But, of course, they don't want to talk about that. It's crazy. I do feel like they are going to try to impeach Biden, but I don't see it going anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere. It's so not going to go anywhere. Do you follow this woman, Jasmine Crockett?
I don't know.
Follow her. Are you on X? Do you do X?
Do Twitter. No. Twitter X. And that's not going to be around much longer either.
Jasmine Crockett is a rep out of like Dallas, Texas, and I think she was an attorney, like a public defender.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she's amazing. She makes my life. I just love her. And every day on Twitter, she gets on and says, well, this is the circus that happened today. And she just calls them all out.
Is she in the Congress?
She's in Congress.
Okay. I'll have to check her out.
she's a Black woman who represents Dallas. I so wish that she was my rep. But she's amazing. Vintage Gal said AOC and Jasmine Crockett are the younger Congress and are on fire and don't back down. And that's the truth. But
Absolutely.
Jasmine is she's just got it. She's been on MSNBC lately. So, because she's so quick-witted
Mm-hmm.
and she's very dry and she just slices and
I would
dices.
probably recognize her.
You
I just
probably would
not the
recognize her.
name.
Really pretty lady. But anyway, she's just very dry and very quick-witted. I love her. I just love her. I love her. So anyway, I saw Vintage Gal mention that, and I just had to bring her up. If you guys don't follow her, check her out.
Yeah.
Add Dan Goldman and Moskowitz too.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've touched on a lot. I think we've covered most of the current stuff going on right now. So I think this is probably a good time to end, I think. But Susan, it's so much fun. We will have to plan something hopefully next time,
On
maybe
my
after the new
channel.
year on your channel.
Yeah.
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 And keep this conversation and all this fun going. But again, if you're not subscribed to Susan's channel, I'm sure most of you are. But if you're not, go over and subscribe to her channel. Susan's an amazing reader. How do they get a hold of you if they want a reading, Susan?
Thank you, Kevin. You guys can check out my website, susanlynnmedium.com, susanlynnmedium.com for all that stuff. We've read on the bomber a lot. We really feel like this is going to come out. They know who it is and it's going to come out. Just stay tuned.
It's like they're waiting. They're waiting for
They're waiting.
he's
getting his 5D chess. He's, he's getting his 5D chest going. But listen, you're going to be on tomorrow night with Mel Dorr. Y'all are going to be talking politics. So if you didn't get enough politics, come back to his channel tomorrow night. And Kevin you do these live readings like at least once a week, right? So
yeah, I try to. I have a solo Tuesday show usually where I do the politics. Me and Mel have a weekly show. We go between both of our channels, me and Mel Dorr. Me and Susan are going to try to keep doing something monthly. So,
oh yeah, we're going to be switching off. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to heat up. You guys just, get ready. Things are really starting to happen. You're really going to start seeing things happening more and more. And God knows you've been waiting long enough for it, but I think we're finally seeing it. So I'm happy.
It's like we've gotten a drip and then another drip like a month or two later. And now it's like drip, drip, drip. It's getting quicker. It's building. And I think everybody can kind of start to see that too. So
yeah. Turn on the faucet.
Right. Well, maybe that's March, April, and May.
I think it is. But if it could be sooner, I'm up for that.
All right. Well, again, everyone, thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you'd like a reading or a Reiki session, send me an email, kevinlovingvibrations, and we can get something set up for you. Thanks again, Susan. We'll do this again soon. Sending you all a lot of love. Talk to you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.